Hello and welcome back to my channel. Before we begin, if you're new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and also share the video as it really supports me. With that out of the way, let's begin. So I made a brutally challenging game in only 48 hours for the africaComicade game jam. I'm using the words brutally challenging as I don't want to say it was impossible, as the game is possible to play, but you can't get a score above 10. If you don't believe me and you think you're an epic gamer like me, I dare you to go play the game. If you manage to get above 10, you'll get a special role on my Discord server. Also, link to that in the description. But enough of that. What's the game about really? Well, I've already said I made the game for a game jam. But like an idiot, I didn't record any footage of me making it. So I'm gonna try to recreate it as much as possible. Fake some of the footage. So the theme was announced at 7 p.m. Central African time during a live stream. The theme was avoid the spread. It was also given some extra context, which led me to think towards the events of the current year. And so I immediately thought, avoid the spread of a virus. I went on to scrap that idea as if I could think of it in a few minutes, I knew other people would think of it as well. So I did the most logical and most advised thing you can do in the middle of a jam. I started to play Factorial and boom, it was already 1 a.m. So after productively using my time, I went to bed. Playing Factorial wasn't a big waste of time as I had the main building block for my game, which was grids. I mean, you can do anything with them. So after making the grid spawn, I then had to spawn the bounds of the grid. I didn't know why I was doing this at the time, and because I hadn't decided what the game would actually be about, but after spawning the grids, I began to brainstorm. After numerous ideas, I thought I'd make a game where something is spreading on the grid and you have to reach a goal while you avoid what's spreading. The original idea was a bit more complex, and as compared to what I ultimately made, as you would also spread the same thing that's spreading on the grid as you go to your goal, and once you reach the goal you'd become bigger and the thing you're spreading would spread slowly from you, and you would also reduce in size. I thought this wouldn't really fit with the theme of the jam, and it was a bit too confusing. As you can see, I'm even having struggled to explain it myself. So I made it so corruption will spread on the grid while everything is in the dark. You will be emitting a light and so will your goal. So the first thing I had to do was spread the corruption. Since it was on a grid, it was very easy, and I sort of used a discount version of cellular automata. So the following are just some of the steps I did to spread the corruption in case you're interested. If you're not, I'll have a time card where you can skip. Firstly, I had to pick a random point in the grid. I made a public variable on my grid spawn script, so this allowed me to choose the number of points I want to corrupt in the future. Next, we have to corrupt these points. This was also very easy to do as all the points had a script attached to them called cell, which handled every cell's behavior and updating their state. So I update the chosen cells to corrupt, and afterwards they check their nearest neighbors using an overlap circle. Then I put these points in a list if they aren't already corrupted, and after a few seconds I corrupt these neighbors. Then the neighbors also go through the same steps to spread the corruption. After that, I had to spawn the light. This was also very simple, as all I had to do was update the state of a randomly selected cell to pure. It then draws an overlap sphere around itself and finds its neighbors to make them protected by its light, meaning they cannot be corrupted over. Although this has some glitches as well, where the corruption and light will spawn at the same point, but it still works out in the end. Then I made a simple score counter, which when the player gets into range of the overlap circle will increase their score. After that, I yoinked the player movement from KillerShapes, and after modifying it, I added another square to the game, added a trail render, and boom, we have a player. I also made it so the player also emits light from them, as I mentioned earlier, and all this is just by drawing an overlap circle around the player and updating the states of any cells within its vicinity to activate their light components. As easy as that. Next, I added the ability to die, because what's a game without dying? A simple particle system and a death screen, and boom, I was done, sort of. Finally, before moving on to the main menu, I added some simple instructions, added a high score system, and worked on some post-processing. After that, I made a quick 5-minute menu and I was done. Then of course submitted the game, but there was one problem. The game was silent, so I loaded sound effects using BFXR for the standard sound effects, and then I made a quick audio manager to play some background music. For this, I just yoinked KillerShapes by NOmAb, which is one of the songs for my game KillerShapes, which if you don't know about it, there's a game about a square with guns I'm working on, so go check out my devlogs for that. And also, don't forget to go check out NOmAb's channel. And yeah, after adding some music and submitting the update, I was done. And all I had to do was wait for the rating period and the judges to judge the games. So, did I win? Yes. I get first for the most challenging game in the jam, and first for the most creative game in the jam. So some of the decisions I made actually paid off, and I ended up winning $600, which will go towards KillerShapes. So for you waiting for the Android version of the game to come out, it just might come out at the same time as the PC version. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. The next KillerShapes devlog will be out in 2 weeks. I didn't work on it as my PC went and died on me. The guys over on the Discord server knew this in advance. I actually told them as it happened. So if you want to hear about any KillerShapes news, go join the Discord server. I'm also uploading playtest versions of the game every now and then, so go join. In that case, peace.